This is Lee, and we're on the Game of Tongues. It is, I guess it's Wednesday, the 26th of September, and we're about to talk to INTERJEET, who is from Australia, and he is the ripe old age of 22, and Hindi is his first language. Um, we've chatted a few times, and he has shown a lot of improvement. To quote him, I have experienced a massive improvement. I can't even believe it that I've never seen before in my life, unquote. And that was in late July. We talked at that time. At the end of July, his last bad incident had been several weeks ago. He said that it was a little harder to talk to me looking down. um, he in August on August 19th, he reported again once again that things had been definitely much better. Um, I asked him to what he attributed it, and he said, "Mind training, visualization, and mastering the crutches. They are really powerful." Unquote. And I can only say I'll compliment him. There are all kinds of people in the world, but the people who work hard at things, as INTERJEET does, make huge progress, and that's a fact. And
Yes, yes.
the turtle beat the rabbit because he never stopped walking. The rabbit kept leaving the course, and the turtle eventually won the race. And I'm sort of a turtle myself. I don't know what INTERJEET is, but I'm sort of a turtle. But I just keep walking, and it's
Yes.
amazing what you can get done. So, and
So,
INTERJEET is proving it. Um, again, we talked on the 2nd of September. Everything looked good. He had two minor incidents and no bad incidents. I said in over a month. It had actually been probably been 5 weeks anyway. Um,
yes.
and so, and I asked him what crutches he was using, and he said crutch 4, um, which is inserting something in front of the feared word, like another word or words or a sound. And I have
Yes.
found that to be the strongest crutch of all for individual words. It never fails. If you use it correctly, it will never fail you. He said he was using crutch number 8 quite a bit, which is modulation or changing his voice register. Which was it, modulation or changing your voice register that you were using mostly?
That's the voice modulation, just inflecting up and down, like up and down. That kind of
Yes,
one.
that's
Yep.
going to Enderjeet just defined it for us. Modulation means going up and down, or down and up. Like I'm going to say, hello, hello, goodbye, goodbye. That's what he's talking about modulation. That's absolutely correct. I have found in my personal experience that's the only crutch I need if I run into an errant word. Once in a while, I can't say metaphysics because it's too long. Forget it. Metaphysics. Metaphysics. So when you know why? Because when you focus, you only have to move your focus this far away from Satan stuttering, and you beat him. That's the great news. The man wears cement shoes. He can't catch us. We're so fast. We're so fast. Every one of us is so much faster than he is. He also were using crutch number 9, which was extreme pronunciation. And it also mentions accents and gestures. Extreme pronunciation, once again, if I am worried about a presentation in front of many people, I can simply revert to extreme pronunciation. You might say, Lee, you're over the top, mate. That's too much. People think you're an oddball. Hey, it beats stuttering, and I have found
Yes.
that they don't think I'm an oddball. They think I'm articulate. So extreme
Yes.
pronunciation can work like a charm. He also said that he was using crutch number 10, which, in terms of getting through a speech, it's, or let's say, the most pressured conversation you can possibly have. If you keep it short, one complete thought to a full stop, and another complete thought to a full stop. And while you do it, link your words together as I am doing now. You do not need to talk fast. You can talk fast if you wish. Or you can talk very slowly. Or you can talk at a normal speed. It does not matter. As long as every car in the train is coupled to the car in front of it and the car behind it, you will not stutter. You say, oh, I did. No, you didn't keep your words or your syllables linked. If you do, you will never fail. The reason people fail is they have such an ingrained habit of pausing between words and syllab. They don't link. You must. Word linkage absolutely works if you do it. But it takes practice and discipline until it's natural. And so here was INTERJEET using crutch 4, crutch 8, crutch 9, crutch 10, a potpourri, a plethora of crutches. He has an arsenal of weapons. And poor Satan in his cement boots. He's a one-act pony. All he can do is wait for an opening between words and hope that your fear element, your residual fear, is enough to make you think words and problems instead of focusing on any crutch you like and beating him. INTERJEET, I've added, I'm going to ask you some questions in just a second. I have added, I'm doing a third edition of the book. It'll be 100 pages longer. This one is 322. It'll probably be 400 and I don't know what, 50 or something. Size is not the point. The point is I've learned a lot in the year since I put out the second edition from you guys, and I want to put it out there while I can. And I'm adding a 13th crutch, which kind of have my tongue in my cheek, because some people say, oh, hey, the number 13 is bad luck. Well, of course, in our family, it happens to be good luck. My father was born on the 13th, for example. But it's a 13th crutch, and what is it? It is the ultimate crutch. Wow, what's that? No crutch at all. You're kidding. No, I'm not. It's just thinking your ideas, your emotion, and your joy. That's it. We're done. We're done. And when you know the crutches as well as you do, INTERJEET, you are ready for the 13th crutch. You are ready to focus. And you can focus on your smile first. I'm going to smile this entire conversation. And I'm going to put my feelings into this thing. I'm going to say, mate, can you tell me what we're going to have for lunch, buddy? You can be over the top about anything you say. Holy mackerel, what's INTERJEET eating? What's he got? What's he smoking? I want some of that. I had a guy come on while I was doing a session a couple of days ago, and he wrote in the chat window, I don't know who it was, he wrote in the chat window, this is the mindset I want. And why not? It doesn't cost anything to be excited about your life, about all the opportunities that you have, and about all the blessings you have. You have 3 hots in a cot. In your case, you're young, attractive guy, you're smart, you got everything going for you. And whatever your problems are, they're this big compared to this many positives. You got to dwell on the donut, not the hole. You got to look at the glass half full, not half empty. And you got to bring joy to every conversation. And you got to bring enthusiasm and passion. You, I put that first. I don't have any words for you, Inderjeet. I only have emotions and ideas. That's all I've got. And I dare say you're much more interested in that than any words that I might conspire to use. Words are simply ways of getting our ideas out that people can understand them. But the mind picks the words. I have no words to select for you, mate. I only have an idea. I want to help you. I want you to be able to say, Lee, and to anybody, I have not had a bad incident in over a month. And then I want you to be able to say, I know that I can beat or avoid any threatened stutter, block, or undue silence. Anytime, anywhere. When you can say that, you're a success story. And we work on your public speaking. And we work on your continuing use of autosuggestions or self-hypnosis to keep your mind trained and in the straight and narrow path that we have to make life really work. I say to most of my grandchildren who are your age, I say, you and I and everyone else are train wrecks waiting to happen unless we train our minds every single day. When we don't train our minds, we abandon it. We send our mental ship out to sea without a mast, without a rudder, without a captain, without a steering wheel. And we pray that it'll work out. Well, it won't. We've got to put the mast on, put the rudder on, put the steering wheel on, and we've got to be the captain. Otherwise, all the currents of the world will determine our lives. Because our lives are in between our ears. Our thoughts are our reality. Our thoughts are what we are. We live within our minds. And we are in control of our minds. We can plant the thoughts that we want, which is why I ask everyone to read this every day, the dedication in my book to you, the reader, from Frank S. Caprio's book, Helping Yourself with Psychiatry. We have free choice to accept or reject thoughts. Nothing compels us to think anything except our own desires. So use your mental switch and dictate your thoughts. Believe that you can improve, and you will. That's where we're going. The first step is you've already done it. How many weeks has it been now, Inderjeet, since you had an incident with your speech that made you appear to be speech disabled? How long has that been? 2 months? What has it been?
Sorry, something was missed before. My internet connection was missed. Can you repeat again?
Yes. How long has it been, pardon me, since you had a speech incident where a stranger would think or thought that you had a speech disability? Has it been 1 month, 2 months? What has it been?
I
Been
think it's definitely, yes,
2 months?
definitely close to almost 2 months, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay, so I'm going to
Yeah, I think
say,
that
uh, then I'm going to say, um,
just put 1.5 month, 1.5 month.
I'm sorry.
Just put 1.5 month, like 1.5 month,
Uh,
1 month and
I
60
keep
days. Just to
I
like,
keep records of what you tell me. I keep records. I write down what you
yes,
tell
yes,
me. And the first time
yeah,
you
sure.
told me it was been 3 weeks was July 29th. That was the first time you
Yeah,
told me it had been 3 weeks. And you told me that again on August 19th. But it would have been 6 weeks. You hadn't had, I don't think you'd had one since you told me it had been 3 weeks. So it's now,
yeah, actually, yeah, yeah,
time goes fast when you're having fun. You're not having problems,
exactly.
and that's the good news. And you have been, um, I will say, a poster boy, an exemplar, a prototype of what we're trying to accomplish here. You've jumped into this thing on all with both feet on and both hands. You've grabbed this thing and you've run with it, and you've just scored touchdown after touchdown over and over and over again. You've been a star and are, and we're really proud of you. So. What tell me, what do you want to tell us about your speech? We haven't talked in it's been
Uh,
3 weeks because I
mm,
had an eye procedure or
yeah.
whatever, and I had to miss some times. Um, what can you tell us of interest, good, bad, and indifferent, about your speech since the last time we talked?
Yeah, thanks for asking me this question. I was like really want to share everything since starting. So when this thing happened, I made a decision on month of first week of July that I really want to cure this thing, regardless how, because I've been suffering with this thing, as you know, it's like more than 20 years. And maybe 3 months ago, 3 months ago, like I think 3 or 4 months ago, I made a decision for myself. Like, look in there, you gotta make a decision. If you really want this thing, you need to do something about it. That was like a really strong desire. It wasn't like a wishy-washy desire because a lot of people they just wish for things. Oh, I want this thing. You never get something which you just like wish. You gotta have a strong desire. So that was my first step. I really had a really strong desire. I'm like, I'm gonna sacrifice anything, whatever it takes to get a result. That kind of mindset was the biggest thing to kickstart my journey. Then what I made my plan that regardless of what, I'm gonna cure this 120 days. And then I come up with your book on Amazon, and then I read your book. After reading your book, I used to like manipulate my speech because of different technique. I never speak natural. So once I read your book, you were saying you gotta speak natural. So after reading your book, I released my techniques which I was using before, manipulating my speech or unnatural speech. I released everything. First week was terrible. I'm telling you, first week was terrible. I couldn't speak any word at all. I was like so bad because I always want to control my speech all the time. That was kind of fear. So leaving that all the techniques which I've done in past, I released them. First week was really hard because I didn't practice your stuff. But from inside, I know one thing, like what I'm doing is the right thing. From inside, I knew this thing that what I'm doing is the right thing. I just want to stick to it, consistent and persistent with it. Was continuing with your techniques, and gradually I start improving by 1 week, 2 week, getting better result because I can literally see how I was in first week, pure natural, without any manipulating my speech, and then slowly, slowly I can see the progress. The progress that come with me every week, I feel more confident. I feel better. Like, look, I'm getting better at this thing. So gradually, everything was getting better and better and better. I think now is the time I feel like I'm fully cured, which it's never happened before. I think for the biggest reason was you if somebody want to get cured, they have to have a strong desire because when I was reading your book, there was a thing in your book saying a lot of people don't want to get cured. That was really eye-opening for me when you say a lot of people don't want to get cured because they stuck with the same negative belief which doctor says you can't cure these things, so they still have this limiting belief, which makes them stuck on one place. I say, once I read that part of your book, like a lot of people don't want to get cured. They're just like wishy-washy. They don't really want to get cured. If you really want to get cured, this thing will help if you stick to it. No, just say wishy-washy. So I was keep doing this journey. I'm getting really better, and I think, as I will tell you, like from past 2 months, I'm speaking really good. I have no issues. I'm a really busy guy. I have an internship. I'm studying in my last semester. I have a work to do. I also take care of my health, fitness, gym. So I'm really busy guy. Like I pretty much 6 to 7 days. I pretty much a really busy guy. So in that case, I still stick with everything, still doing everything, and eventually seeing the results. And at this stage, I'm doing internship. So at my internship with the company, I'm doing a great job. I'm one of the more talkative guy nowadays. I can really lead those people. So I think life has changing a lot. I feel a lot more confident overall in my life, and I feel like I think amazing life is starting now. I think it started already. I see many changes in my relationship, my career, overall my emotional health. I feel much better every day. So I think that was a really great journey for me. Trust me, it was an amazing journey that I can't even imagine that. But I want to tell one thing. I'm gonna be honest with this thing. From past few weeks, I wasn't practicing a lot of things as you telling before because I kind of get natural inside. So I'm a bit lazy from past few weeks. I just want to say that thing. But yeah, definitely. Like once you really practicing everything for first 1 month, really getting strong into it, you build a really foundation for practicing your stuff. Just trust what you're doing. Just trust what Lee is saying. It's perfectly fine. You gotta trust this thing and practice it every day if you really want to get cured. If you don't want to get cured, that's your wish. But if you really want to get cured,
Hold on just a
you better.
second. I'm sorry. Hello, honey. I'm on a call here. Okay, honey. Thank you. That's my wife. She's shopping with our architect. We're moving to we're doing another house and smaller house, so she's working on that. Anyway, go ahead. That was a wonderful statement. Had you
Yeah.
finished
So
or
we
had
were.
something to add? Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's whatever you just teach. It's really powerful because I think the people who are seeing this program or people who are really reading this book, first of all, they need to release the negative beliefs. They need to let go what they've been conditioned because of the doctors and scientists. They just say this thing is not curable. A lot of people think that. That's all bullshit. That's all bullshit, pure bullshit. But if you stick to it, you will get results. This is the thing. So that's all I want to say.
I love.
I think,
I'm
yeah,
laughing because it's so music to my ears, and you don't know how hard I try to get people to understand what you just said. I try so hard, and it's so many people that don't understand it, and they won't believe it, and they just can't. They can't. They can't. And I say, look at me. What am I lying? I made all this up so I can make no money. I've spent almost three. I've spent like 2,500 hours talking to people on Skype already.
yes,
Why am I doing it? I want because I know it works. And it does work, and you are living proof. And we got a bunch more like you on SAA. We've got to put your story on Speech Anxiety Anonymous success stories. We've got to put it up there. And we keep going because the next thing with you is we want to work on your public speaking a little bit. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but we want to work on it a little bit because the great thing about beating stuttering is one of the great things. There are a lot of great things about stuttering when you beat it. One of them is you instantly become a better speaker than you ever would have been simply because you've got all these crutches that you can use to enliven your speech. You can use extreme pronunciation. You can use modulation. You can use enthusiasm, expression, passion, word linkage, on and on. And if you run into a problem and changing your voice register, I can assure you, is an extremely valuable method of speaking publicly. I used to do it all the time. I would say, and the most important point that I'm going to make to you today is this, and I would make them wait. But I use the whisper. When I start to whisper, they all try twice as hard to listen to me. When you speak softly, people strain to hear you. So using a different voice register is extremely effective in public speaking. It's the variety. It avoids the monotony. You don't put people to sleep. And some gestures, not constant, but some gestures are very helpful. We go on and on, but public speaking is the next stop. And then we want to make sure that you, before you depart, stop talking to me. You have a list of auto suggestions, not speech related, but life related. What does INTERJEET do to fine tune his station and keep it on the right track all the time? I remember saying to my psychiatrist I mentioned in the book I went to see 6 times when I was 3 years older than you. Um, and I told him, I said, Doc, sometimes I worry about myself because I can have very negative thoughts, sometimes even evil thoughts. And he said, Lee, let me tell you something. He said, 99 plus percent of all the guys in the world of, from your cultural background, your age, have had the same thoughts you've had. An evil thought is not bad in and of itself, but when you let it manifest itself in words and actions, then you got a problem. And that's why we have free choice to accept or reject thoughts. Nothing compels us to think anything except our own desires. So we can dictate our thoughts. But what you and I have to do every day, I have to do it every day. If I don't do it, my ship will go awry. It will. It's like, would you agree with me that almost every minute of every hour of every day, we have a decision to make of some kind? Would you agree with that? Would you also agree? Would you also agree that 99% of the time, at least 95, we know the right decision? Would you also agree that sometimes we don't make the right decision? We have that extra drink. We do something that we know we shouldn't have. Would you agree with that? Sometimes. Would you agree that sometimes we make the wrong decision and we know it's the wrong decision? Would you agree with that? You're not reacting. Can you hear me?
Oh, oh sorry. Yes, definitely. Like, I thought like you just saying like generally. Like
No,
yes, yeah,
I'm
definitely.
trying to get your opinion. And I mean, we agreed that almost every minute of every hour of every day we've got a decision to make. You also
Yeah.
agreed with me that 95 or so percent of the time we instantly know what the right decision is. And you agreed. And the third thing I said, which you
Just know
didn't
what's the
agree,
right
you
thing to
didn't say
do.
anything, was don't you think that sometimes we make the wrong decision, even though we know that it's the wrong decision?
Yes.
And that's when we
That's
start down
pretty.
and that's when we start down the slippery slope. And the degree of the slope is dependent upon how serious the decision is. But it's a downhill slope. And I'm not saying, look, I'm not holding myself up in any way as perfect in any way, shape, or form, because I'm as imperfect as most people. But one thing that separates me from a lot of people is I'm trying my best, and a lot of people simply don't. They simply don't try their best. And that's where I have a problem. Whether it's my grandchildren, I got 13 of them, or my sons, I got 4 of them, or whatever, or myself. Most importantly, myself. I'm responsible for Lee. So I want to make sure that I'm every day. The last thing you don't want to go away from me, I don't think, until you are into the mind training program beyond speech, and you are ready to make your life the best it can possibly be. And I say this to you, the only thing that you, I, or anyone needs to do to succeed is try our very, very, very best at everything we choose to do. And if we don't like it, do something else. But whether it's cleaning streets or being a brain surgeon, whatever it is, we do the best job of which we're capable. If we do that, and one other thing, if we are as loving as we can possibly be to every human and domestic creature we can be, if we do those 2 things, we are going to have a very happy life. No matter what else happens, that's what we need to do. But it's like beating your speech. You beat it. You surgically attacked it, and you cut the evil nonsense out of your mind. You obliterated it. And any time it threatens to come back, it still threatens me. I'm not afraid of it, INTERJEET, because I've got an arsenal of weapons to beat it. I'm not afraid of it. I can go give a speech to 7 billion people right now. Give me the mic. I'll say anything you want. I won't stutter, block, or hesitate except intentionally for any speech on any whatever. I'm not afraid of it. I never will be. Could I have a threat? Sure. Will I stutter, block, or have an undue silence? No. So I'm not afraid. So that's what fear is going to do to you. I mean, the fear, whatever fear you've got left, it's dying fast. It's dying fast, and it will die totally. It may take 6 months or a year, I don't know, but it will die because you're going to forget to stutter. You're going to stop thinking about speech altogether. I talked to a guy yesterday who told me, and he'd been a pretty serious stutterer. He told me now he thinks about his speech, he said, approximately 2 minutes out of an hour. I used to think about my speech over 50 minutes out of an hour. And my guess is this guy did too. But he's done substantially what you've done. And, I mean, he's from a totally different culture, from Eastern Europe. And, but you guys are proving the power of the mind. You're proving your own dominion over your own mind. And life, that's what life's about. It's can you master you? It's INTERJEET versus INTERJEET. It's Lee versus Lee. It's not the world we're fighting here. If we can handle ourselves, we're going to be happy. We're going to be successful, productive, good people that help the world. And you know what else? You will attract people like yourself. So that's who you're going to attract. So you better give it your best shot, or you're going to be attracting the wrong people. And it's everything's either going down. There's momentum in both directions, up and down. There's no such thing as status quo, in my opinion. Everything is always changing. And some things we can't affect, like age has certain negative aspects. But I'm old as Methuselah, but I'm still happy. I'm still productive. I'm still enjoying life. I'm still helping people. Age is simply chapters. And there's, in many respects, I'm infinitely happier today than I was when I was your age. When I was 1 year older than you. Well, actually, when I was your age. I was married and had one son. By two
My
years later,
age.
by later I had two sons, married and broke, and just almost out of law school. And I stuttered,
Ah,
and I
that's
stuttered.
great. I can feel that. Like I can really feel the pain that comes with having a kids and having a wife and that issue with stuttering. I think that's a really tough time for you. But you literally proved this world that anything is possible. And if you follow your blueprint, they will be there as well. Because I can feel that, like, by the age of 22, you have kids and you have a family, and still you have an issue with the speaking. So I know it's pretty hard to survive when you have a family. So I think I don't know why people are thinking they just fucking do this shit and they will see the results. That's the simple thing. I know, like, as I told before, we always know what's the right thing to do, and still people do the wrong thing, and they also know they're doing the wrong thing as well. So I think I don't know what's going with the people mind. Like, they really want to cure or not? If they want to cure, they will cure. If they will stick to this plan,
God,
that's the only thing I want to say.
I just love what you're saying. I have to put, I have to put this on Facebook. I never, unless you object, I have to put it on there because I just use your first name. I can leave your first name off if you want. But I have to put it on there because you are expressing. You are the reason I wrote this book. You're not alone. There are others, but you are the reason I wrote this book. I'll tell you right now. And when I wrote this book, I didn't write it for money. I've never intended to charge for it. Some people buy it, but I've spent many thousands of dollars and I've gotten pennies back. I don't care. The point is, I wrote this book because I said to myself when I wrote, my wife said, you know, nobody reads books and no one is ever going to hear of your book and it's not going to make any difference. And I told her, I said, look, honey, if my book helps one person beat it, when I know what it meant to me to beat it, then it's all worthwhile. Just one, and you're it. And there are a lot of you. I've got over 40 people posted on Speech Anxiety Anonymous, and there have been more than twice that many. Not everybody will let me post their stories because they see so much shame being associated. How could they ever have had a speech issue? It's such a disgrace. It's so humiliating. They won't. I'm proud of it. I beat adversity. What's wrong with that? And I'm helping other people beat adversity. What's wrong with that? And you're doing the same thing by what you say today. What you've said today is going to help, I don't know how many people, one, two, 1,000, 1,000,000. I have no idea. But I got a video library and you're in it. Your words, your words 20 years from today, people may be listening to what you said today to me and saying, if that guy can do it, I can do it. You give people hope. You give them confidence, belief. It's a wonderful thing, man.
And one more thing, which I realized that if I cure this thing, which I already cured, I can do anything in my life. Like anything is possible. Getting other stuff is super easy. They can achieve anything in their life if you can cure this thing because this thing required it's the same thing. You achieve everything in a same way. It's the same kind of pattern. But if you can achieve this thing, you can achieve anything in life. So this is one of the motivation for me. I feel like if I can achieve this thing, I can achieve any big thing in my life. Doesn't matter what it is because this thing is the biggest hurdle for me, and this has been cured. I think I can achieve anything now. If I want anything, it could be fitness goal, getting 6 abs, anything. If I can
I
achieve this
love
thing,
it.
it's the same
I
principle.
love it. Now, I got to go in about 2 minutes, but let me just say, can I? Um, let's do a success story on you. On I mean, do you want to write a draft, or do you want me to write one and send it to you and you rewrite it? I mean, I don't care. Make it easy on yourself. If you'd like to write it, that's great. If you wouldn't, I'll write something short, and you can do what you want. Change it however you like. What would you like?
You can just you can just write it down, and you can
Okay.
just send me back.
Okay.
See what I want to add, so I can add a little bit of stuff
Perfect,
from my
perfect.
preference.
The more personal, the more you personalize it, it,
Yes.
it's real. Look, you're real. What I did is real. Lord knows, I can't have had, I can't make this up. I can't make this up. you know?
Exactly. Like the biggest thing I realized, like you're spending thousands of hours for free. I'm like, who gonna do this thing? Come on, guys. What are you guys thinking? I don't know. Somebody's spending their whole day long. Like he can do fun. He can like go with the kids. He can do anything. You just don't want to waste your time like on Skype, right? No one wastes their time like that. Like I'm like, it's a big thing. People still block their mind. He's giving you time for free. It's a big thing. No one really cared about other people, and he's caring about other people as well.
I love
Still,
it.
people are.
Listen, I love it. Look, and let's keep going though. Let's keep our Skypes up, and let's make the next goal um, public speaking, and let's devote the next session to talking about public speaking and interviews if you like too. I do a lot of work on job interviews with people. I started a lot of companies in my life, and I've hired a lot of people in my life. I've been retired for decades, but I'm very familiar with the job hiring process. And I've worked with people. Some people I've worked with them. I've done 10 and 12 Skypes on interviews. you know. So, and I just did one with an Irish guy who was in absolute panic. He was trying to get a job as an inspector for the government, some kind of department in the government, and he was absolute panic about it. He's probably 15 years older than you, and it was the job of his life. And he had a deadline, and we had like 3 Skypes a week for like a month, and he did the interview, and he placed first out of 30 applicants.
That's amazing.
I got that email yesterday. He's over the
Wow.
moon. But I told him, I won't mention his name because he doesn't like to show his face or his name on here. But he uh, he told me yesterday. I told him, I said, look, mate, your speech still needs to be smoothed out. This is not true with you, Inderjeet. I have no your speech, your conversational speech is beautiful. Hold on just a second. Hello, who's calling? Who's calling? Who's calling?
Maybe scam.
Some crank call. In any
Yeah,
event,
exactly. Yeah.
I said he needs to smooth out his speech, and we can do it. He still has little hiccups. You wouldn't say he's not a painful stutterer, no, but he has little hiccups, and we can get rid of them. We can absolutely get rid of them. Stop, stop calling me. Um, I have to go. I'm going to send you a draft success story. You rewrite it. I hope you'll rewrite it, and
Uh,
I'll see you next week. What?
One question quickly. Can I go in stressful situation now? Can I talk in more uncomfortable situation because I want to build my confidence in my
Absolutely,
public places?
absolutely. But don't take it to a panic level. Don't
Total
take it
stranger,
to.
or
Don't try
just
and
going out.
address everybody in your country tomorrow on television. Let's do it one step at a time. Let's start with the smaller groups. If you can get in Toastmasters, that's good because the groups are small. The speeches are 5 minutes or less, and that's good.
Yeah.
You can use, keep it short and use the techniques as you go along. And but mainly, I want you to work on thinking enthusiasm, idea, and joy. I want you to really bang on those three things.
I enjoy. Okay. So I can still like practicing in a stressful situation because I wanna because last time you told me
Absolutely.
in starting.
I got my next call. I must go.
All right. Yeah. No worries. Thanks. Bye.
Take care, mate. It's great seeing you.
No worries. Yeah.
And that was INTERJEET. And he has just given a wonderful success story. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you learned from it. I did. He's a guy with a great future. He's absolutely put stuttering to death, and he is a poster boy for the fact that you can beat it. I hope you got that message, and I hope you'll join us. Take care.